It's been a while, Kings fans, but I'm finally back in the film room and excited to break down some of our new guys. With the Kings trading their first round pick to unload the contract of Rashawn Holmes, second round Colby Jones gets all the attention from me. Though it's rare for late draft picks to ever pan out into notable rotational players, there's still a lot to like here about Colby and reason to believe that one day he can contribute to the Beam team. So without further ado, let's get into it. Colby is very much a glue guy offensively. He'll provide a little bit of everything, and I especially love some of the secondary playmaking that he should bring to Sacramento. He's a very high IQ player overall, and a very efficient operator out of the pick and roll. Jones averaged 4.4 assists to 2.3 turnovers during his last season at Xavier, and he processes the game at a very high level. He plays with a lot of patience and has a natural chemistry playing with his teammates. Watch here how he freezes the drop defender with his eyes, looking off his teammate who's being fronted in the post, which creates a window to hit the roller wide open at the basket. But look at this pass and how he leads his teammate towards the rim, passing to a spot rather than to a player. This is part of the high level feel that Colby has for the game, and something you see time and time again with his passes. Jones is excellent at deciphering coverages and making quick decisions in the pick and roll as well, knowing when his guys are going to pop and drawing the dropping big, but he also recognizes hedges and he can hit his teammates on slips and on the short roll. He also doesn't panic on these aggressive coverages, keeps his dribble alive, and waits for better windows to hit his teammates. That first pass read is always looking for the roll man, and he was excellent in that regard at Xavier. We also saw plenty of instances of Jones making more advanced reads when the first option isn't there. Here, when the weak side defender tags Jack Nungy on the roll, Colby knows he has his teammate open lifting to the wing. It's easy to see how this playmaking ability should translate to the Kings offense. Sacramento's offense obviously revolves around the dribble handoff game with Sabonis, which opens up a lot of opportunities for players to get downhill, and you want guys you can trust to make decisions with the ball in these spots. Xavier ran a bit of zoom action in their offense, in which Colby looked very comfortable operating and making decisions out of. This screen prior to coming off of DHOs allowed Colby to create more separation for himself and makes it easier for him to get to his spots. It's great that Jones has familiarity running with these concepts because the Kings run a ton of zoom and split action off of Sabonis. And with how Colby reads the game, he should be another perfect addition to operate out of these actions in Sacramento. The only question here for Colby is whether or not he'll provide enough rim pressure for himself in order to create for others. He shoots a solid 62% at the rim, but really doesn't tend to get there much. Jones lacks the explosiveness he needs to create separation, so a lot of his finishes at the basket are usually through contact. The good news is here he's a very strong and physical player and he has the ability to absorb these bumps. Colby's signature shot has become his floater, which he shot at just above 52% at this past season. He's great at getting to his shot out of the pick and roll, understanding how to use his body, and navigating tight spaces. Again, back to Colby's patience here. He's not creating much advantages with his speed, so when he's cut off, he snakes back to his right and creates an angle for him to get off this runner. And when he does manage to get his defender on his hip, he's great at locking him there, putting him in jail, and using his body to create shots. Colby relies a ton on his craftiness around the basket since he lacks some of the explosiveness and vertical pop most creators have. You'll constantly see him changing direction, utilizing spins and pivots, and is comfortable finishing in a variety of ways. As I said before, if he can consistently apply rim pressure, he'll be a much more reliable offensive player. The shot is another bit of a question mark for Colby, though he improved drastically throughout his time at Xavier. He was just under 38% from threes last season in college on 3 attempts per game, and up to 43% on catch and shoot looks. However, his numbers off the dribble, as well as his 68% career free throw percentage, are a bit worrisome. His shot is solid mechanically, and he has a very repeatable motion, so I buy him completely as a catch and shoot threat going forward. This will be huge for him in Sacramento, as the spacing around Fox and Sabonis were key in the team's historic offense last season. But teams are no doubt going to go under on screens against him in the NBA, and his jumper doesn't look nearly as fluid off the dribble. He'll need to really work on this aspect of his game if he wants to become a significant DHO threat in the Kings offense, but the strides he's made already in his shot have to be encouraging. Since he isn't really a pull-up threat and doesn't have the burst or pop you would really want, Colby doesn't project to be much of a one-on-one scorer. He really struggles to create advantages for himself, and a lot of his drives go nowhere when he's looking to create. I think the most easily translatable attribute Colby should bring to Sacramento day one is his connective passing. His feel for the game and quick processing make him an ideal connector and decision maker with the ball. He makes a lot of quick decisions, and again his passes are always on target and he hits players in stride. You want the ball in his hands when operating on offense. With all the qualities that he has, Jones is also perfectly suited to run a zone offense, typically making the right reads here, recognizes the soft spots, and gets his teammates the ball in good spots. He's really effective in the middle of zones as well because of the soft touch and ability to knock down this floater. Overall, Colby should provide plenty of value off ball and especially as a cutter. He recognizes overplays and knows how to cut off his teammates. He should get plenty of good looks in this area with the Kings. Think about the shooting gravity of a guy like Kevin Huerter. The Kings run a lot of sets to get Huerter looks off movement, and think of how many times, like here, where he draws multiple defenders, which creates easy opportunities for slips and backdoors. Being able to cut off the post is important as well, since Sabonis is probably going to draw a double team more times than not down low. And Colby is really someone who just makes winning plays. Hustle and effort is never a question. In his career at Xavier, he averaged over 6 rebounds per game, and he did so at 6'5", playing in a major conference. It's easy to find minutes for high IQ and high effort guys, and Colby fits the mold here. Defensively, I think Jones could be a tremendous asset for a Kings team that desperately needs help on that end. Though I don't believe Colby projects to ever be an elite defender, he does almost everything well at a high level. With how he uses his body offensively, it should be no surprise that Jones is a very physical defender. This is especially noticeable in screen navigation, where he's great at staying attached and fighting through screens. But even with his physicality, Jones is exceptional at getting skinny and eliminating the space between the ball handler and screener. He also gives A+ effort in recovery and fighting back into plays. Even with great screens and coming off various off-ball actions, Colby is relentless at tracking his man down from behind and finding ways to get back in front. He gives you the exact kind of effort that you're looking for in a point of attack defender. The 6'8" wingspan Jones possesses also gives him a chance at altering shots on the hip or from behind. His hands are always active and he maintains great verticality to avoid fouling on his contest. Despite there being no real burst or pop in offense, Colby moves really well laterally defensively. Even with how physical and aggressive he plays, Jones is excellent in containment and rarely gets beat. He also does so without fouling. He keeps his hands active but takes contact with his chest. I noticed how he manages to sustain balance, and there are some brilliant moments of deceleration. This is almost Davion Mitchell-like here, how he can come to a complete stop, drag his back foot, and propel himself forward into a contest. His core strength is absolutely phenomenal. Being able to absorb bumps and contact when backpedaling or sliding on defense is some special stuff, and Colby makes it look easy. He just never loses balance and knows how to alter shots with his length. And with that length, Colby also offers some verticality at the rim as a weak side help defender. Colby is someone with elite defensive instincts, yet also understands rotations and his duties within the team defense. Just look at the break he makes in the ball here. On the weak side, in reading the ball handler's eyes, like a free safety. Jones anticipates the pass over the top to the post and flies in from the weak side to break it up. And this is amazing work in taking away multiple options out of a Spain pick and roll. He makes the initial tag on the roller, then stunts up to discourage the kick out pass to the perimeter. But he never loses sight of the ball, so when the drop off pass is made, he's able to erase it from behind. It may not seem like a big deal having a guard being able to offer verticality at the basket, but it's actually very important within the confines of the Kings defense. Since the Kings usually play their bigs at the level of screens, this means everyone will have low man duties including guards. Colby at least provides size in these positions, which is more resistance than most of his new teammates can offer. This length also allows for better closeouts and enables Jones to cover more ground. He's very disciplined on his closeouts and still uses that wingspan to provide solid contest. Everyone's favorite Arby's employee had a film session during the season talking about how teams manipulate the Kings' undersized low man against them. An example of this is here. On the pick and roll, Davion Mitchell is tagging the rollover from the weak side. This creates an angle to make this skip pass, and look how much ground Davion has to cover to complete the X out and close out to the corner. As great as Davion is, he's still extremely undersized, and a long closeout from him probably won't be much of a factor. Implementing a bigger guard like Colby here instead, and you can see just how important size is. That's all I have for this one, and thank you all for sticking around and supporting the channel. I know I was gone for a while, but I'm back and ready to produce more content for what should be an eventful summer. Anyway, see you guys next time.